Hey guys, in this video, I'm just going to be talking about the upcoming Pokemon games, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which are, as we all know, remakes of the classic Ruby and Sapphire titles for the Game Boy Advance. I believe they were released in 2003, so it's been over a decade now, and they're making remakes for the 3DS. Alright, just heads up, in this video, I'm not going to show any pictures or images, I'm just going to be talking, meaning it's all audio. So that's just keep in mind for all you guys who are watching. Um, this is pure opinion. So if you have any disagreements, feel free to comment. I don't mind if you comment, or even if you disagree. So it's cool. All right. So well, first of all, I'm gonna be talking a little bit about X and Y as well. Okay, my main concern for these games is mega evolutions. These are not only remakes because like unlike previous remakes, it's not only copy and paste, just improving the graphics. They're actually adding more to the game. Like for example, new, like never before seen mega evolutions. So far we have the three starters: Sceptile, Swampert, and Blaziken, which we already know. But they also, all three, they got mega evolutions. And one thing that I do not understand so far, hopefully future will tell, is Primal, Groudon, and Kyogre. Excuse me. From what I see, they seem to get boosted in stats, or they get more powerful when they're in their primal state. I don't understand why they cannot just call this Mega Evolution. Why do they have to change the name and make the two legendaries of that game go to an earlier state and they're stronger? I mean, it wouldn't make sense if they're weaker, so they're obviously gonna be stronger. And they even look stronger. If you look at them, they look boosted up in their primal forms. So I don't understand why they cannot just call this a mega evolution. Hopefully, they have a good explanation, which I hope. And okay, so my problem is I've been a Pokemon fan since the late 90s, early 2000s. My first ever game was Pokemon Crystal, Yellow, Red, Blue. I got them all around the same time, but nonetheless, things have changed dramatically from that time to now. So mega evolutions or regular evolutions, we're all happy they finally introduced a new feature in Pokemon known as Mega Evolutions, as well as a new fairy type in the latest titles X and Y. After all, Pokemon has been repetitive for the last 10 years without any major differentiations, excluding the EV/IV slash competitive play system. Nonetheless, one thing which we have always wanted and still want, that has always been a uh, a thumbs up for new Pokemon games is new evolutions for older Pokemon, and I mean permanent ones, not just turning Super Saiyan, quote unquote, which AKA Mega Evolutions in battle and then going back to normal after the battle is over. Don't get me wrong, I like the Mega Evolution concept, but I don't see how it's relevant or significant giving Mega Evolutions to already overpowered Pokemon. For example, like the Kanto starters used to dominate in when there was only Gen 1, Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard. But now after all these years, they certainly needed evolutions. For example, Charizard, it became completely useless after Gen 1, having a 4x weakness to rock and bad stats. So I'm happy they gave Charizard a dragon type Mega Evo and better stats, because Charizard, honestly, the design was amazing and it still is one of the best looking Pokemon that has ever been created. But on the contrary, Pokemon like Garchomp, who on was labeled Uber in his competitive tire, meaning you cannot use it. At that time when Diamond and Pearl first came out, Garchomp was one of the only non-legendaries that was Uber, as in he was so strong you cannot use it in competitive play unless you're playing Uber. So I don't see why they have to make already strong Pokemon more strong. Garchomp is already strong. Why do you have to make it even more powerful? Not just Garchomp, like some people, a lot of like Gyarados also is really strong. I mean, I like to have new forms, but why can't they focus on permanent evolutions? Like Houndoom and Pinsir, they also got mega evolutions, but all the fans, they want permanent evolutions. I like the fact they got mega evolutions because Houndoom and Pinsir have a great design and they have potential. So why can't they just make them have permanent evolutions as well as mega evolutions? This is equivalent to that quote saying the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. For example, in other words, the strong Pokemon get stronger and the weak get weaker. Literally, how? Well, the strong get mega evolutions, which they certainly do not need, and the weak stay the same. Thus, therefore, it is easier for the stronger ones to KO, to knock out the weaker ones. I mean, before Mega Evolutions, Pokemon like Garchomp, Tyranitar, Mewtwo, etc. were all feared in all of the Pokemon world. Mewtwo alone is, I think, is known as the strongest Pokemon that's ever lived. So I mean, for him to get new forms, I guess is acceptable, but I'm sure all the fans would much rather prefer a Mew 3 rather than two new forms of Mewtwo. Anyways, Ruby and Sapphire remakes are going to be released in November. I highly doubt they're going to make permanent evolutions in those games because they mostly do that in fresh new generation games, not remakes. But they are making, I mean, it's confirmed they're making new permanent, no, sorry, not permanent, new mega evolutions, which they already released some of them so far. From what I see, I fear the creators are going to ruin the balance in the Pokemon world. It's like Digimon when they change forms and become stronger. I like the concept, don't get me wrong, but I believe it's being used the wrong way. This is my opinion. If you guys agree or disagree, just let me know in the comments. If you want to, talk, chat, anything, hit me up sometime. All right. So after all, I guess, like, I hate to say it, but I guess Pokemon creators were running out of ideas, which explains the reason for having newer Pokemon having like ugly designs or ugly hard to remember names. I don't know why they don't think more abstract into what the fans want. Most of us been loyal fans since the 1990s or early 2000s, like myself. And I don't know what age you guys are, but a lot of you guys are probably around my age. So why are they focusing on new kids who were not even born when we played Pokemon? These brats, quote unquote, are ruining Pokemon for us, which is equivalent to ruining our childhood, excuse me. Yes, I take that personally. Anyways, I want to remain a loyal, what am I saying? I'm so exhausted, I'm sorry. I want to remain a loyal fan to Pokemon, but I feel like it's not the same anymore. The fans all grew up, but the creators obviously did not, which is a shame. And I'm sure they probably have new designers for Pokemon now than they had as like when we were younger, when I was a kid or whatever. So the fans all grew up, the creators did not. So the only thing I see from our perspective is like if they saw things from like how we saw it or how I saw it, like not I, but a lot of people think like me. So I'm sure they can satisfy the older fans as well as the newer ones who curse out their moms if she does not buy them a 3DS game. Nah, that's just a stereotype. But anyways, I'm hoping for the best in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I just don't want Mega Evolutions to just take over because we all want permanent evolutions, not just in battle changing forms. That's not cool. We want permanent evolutions. Mega Evolutions are cool, but Pokemon has been repetitive. 8 gyms, League. I want to see something different. At least add a double region in the games. Like for example, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver was amazing because it was a remake of one of the greatest Pokemon games ever made, Silver and Gold. On top of that, they had Kanto and Johto, and so far, I don't think any other generation other than that, or any other game other than that, pretty much, and Crystal of course, but has like Kanto and Johto. Like if they made Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire in Hoenn and add something else like another generation, like another previous generation, make it like a double game in one, that would be cool. We all want to see that. And they are gonna add Mega Evolutions. and I know it's not likely, but I would prefer normal evolutions for Pokemon that we all love, because a lot of, like Gen 5, I would say Black and White, if I think that was Gen 5, was like a big letdown, because all they had was fresh Pokemon who did not even look like Pokemon in my opinion, and they had no new evolutions of previous generations. And then when Gen 6 came out, X and Y, they released a new Eevee evolution, which everyone thought that they were gonna have a bunch of new evolutions, which was not the case. The only one they had, a newer evolution of Eevee, was the only newer evolution in X and Y. Everything else was not. So and they focused more on Mega Evolutions. So I'm just hoping that they don't mess this up, because I don't know. I feel like it's not the same anymore. Yeah, I still love Pokemon. I'm not saying I hate Pokemon, but I'm just saying there's room for improvement, and they're improving, but not the way that I want them to improve. Um, I don't know. We'll have to find out, I guess. Hopefully they're worth playing remakes. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just like a little discussion. If you have any, agreements, disagreements, just comment. It's like 2 a.m., so I'm really exhausted. I'm sorry if I was like, not talking straight or whatever. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Just if you enjoyed the video, share it, like it, comment.